a fascinating piece came out of the Daily Beast revealing that the campaign, staff members within Herschel Walker's campaign, of course, Herschel Walker, former NFL player, is now running for Senate in Georgia and has already become very known for how dishonest, how not well versed in the issues, and bad at communicating his stances, and pretty much bad at everything you would need skill-wise to be a good senator. But even further devastation to him and his campaign came out with this Daily Beast article that revealed his staff believes him to be a pathological liar. His staff does not trust him. And this comes in the wake of, and this is analyzing the whole Herschel Walker has kids that no one knew about situation. And it walks through how, so we'll kind of give you the ground level story and then go to the parts of this article that I want to read. The article goes through how during the scandal as it was developing, his staff would come to him and say, hey, there's some rumors out there that you might have more than just your one adult son. And he would look at them and say, nope, I absolutely don't have any other children. And then news came out they had one other kid. They came to him, said, so you have one other kid? And he said, yes. And they said, are there any others? He said, absolutely not, to his own campaign. Then the next story came out. He has a lot more kids. Now they come to him. They say, this is correct. Yep, I do have a lot of other kids. And so they're not even able to manage him as a candidate, much less have him publicly manage himself or them publicly manage him as a candidate. So with that being said, some groundbreaking parts of this article, quote, again, reading from the Daily Beast, the communications reveal a campaign and a candidate in chaos. Emails and texts show advisors discussing how they don't trust Walker, both to tell the truth to them and to handle campaign events properly, and harboring concerns that he isn't mentally fit for the job. That's highlighting a part that we did know about. He has multiple personality disorder, which obviously mental health is an important thing, but it should be taken into account when assessing if someone is mentally fit to be a senator. And one of the issues with his particular disorder is he will black out and not have any memory of existing in these different personalities at different times. And so then accusations against him are hard to even be litigated because, and I mean litigated from the defense of him standpoint, because he will deny ever having done anything while recognizing that he blacks out and acts in different ways. And so an example of this is there's a lot of accusations against him violently assaulting partners, pointing guns at them, and threatening to kill former romantic partners. And so his staff is very concerned about that as well. Reading on, he spouts falsehoods like he is breathing, this advisor said, so much so that his own campaign stopped believing him long ago. Quote, he's lied so much that we don't know what's true, the person said, adding that aides have zero trust in the candidate. 3 people interviewed for this article independently called him a pathological liar. Again, this is not people who are in opposition to him. This is staffers. This is people, aides, allies close to Herschel Walker. Walker has, in fact, ranked up a staggering record of falsehoods. So this is wild, going back to the general point of this article that he is a pathological liar. He has claimed he was a trained FBI agent and worked for law enforcement, neither of which is true. He has told a preposterous series of lies about his academic record, forcing his campaign to delete claims from his official bio. He has grossly overstated his business success. He has falsely taken credit for founding a veteran support program. He didn't found that. And most recently, he claimed that former President Donald Trump had never said the 2020 election was stolen, which you could go to Trump today and have him say that 1,000 times and he would be happy to admit that he said that claim 1,000 times. So I know in the current state of American politics, it's easy to not really recognize the groundbreaking nature of these types of stories. We have close members of Herschel Walker's campaign, allies, staff members saying he's such a pathological liar, even in private, that we won't even take his word at face value. We don't even believe he's an honest person. As well as we don't think, or we don't know if he is mentally fit for the job. And based on countless examples, he very much so is not, to the extreme example of him threatening romantic partners, but also just when you see him trying to manage discussions of political issues, there is very little coherence to the things that he says. He clearly does not have a good understanding of these very important and complex policy issues, and to the extent that you would need to be a good and effective senator. So of course, everyone in Georgia should be aware of this because he is running for Senate in Georgia, and they could very well put him into one of the biggest positions of power in our country. The person he's running against is Raphael Warnock, who was elected just back in 2020 in a special election. So now, just 2 years later, he's having to fight for that seat once again. And it looks like, based on all the recent scandals, all of the recent negative publicity on Herschel Walker, Warnock has now gotten a little bit better of chances. He does have a good solid lead in the polls as of now, whereas before Herschel Walker was getting all this attention, Raphael Warnock was losing in the polls to Walker, which was very concerning. So the most recent polling we have right now of this race is from Quinnipiac. Quote, in the race for the U.S. Senate in Georgia, Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock leads 54 to 44% over Republican challenger Herschel Walker, according to a Quinnipiac University poll of Georgia registered voters released today. So a 10-point lead. That's good. That can let your heart beat a little bit slower for the time being, but that does mean, because we've seen these polls shift dramatically in the last few months, luckily in Raphael Warnock's direction, we do have to keep pushing. Anyone in Georgia has to go vote for the correct candidate in this race. If for nothing else, even if you don't agree with Raphael Warnock's policies, just to make sure that someone is in that position of power who has the mental capacity, who has the level-headedness and ability to serve legitimately in that position in a way that will represent the constituents as they should be represented. So crazy stuff. Herschel Walker is clearly not someone who should be in a position of power. Of course, I feel for him. I'm sure a lot of this was caused from playing football, getting his head smashed around all the time. I feel for anyone who has mental health problems. For him, multiple personality disorder, of course, but it is fair to consider that in addition to him being a pathological liar, as his staff members have identified, in deciding if we want to have him as one of our senators.